Hi, it's Amelie. Today I'm going to practice Danse de la Chèvre by Arthur Honegger. And as you can notice, I'm wearing a very nice t-shirt from the Flute channel. And yeah, you can get those. We'll put everything in the description if you're interested in getting one. Yeah, we're very happy about that. So I will start. Usually when I played it a while ago, I wrote 56 in the beginning. I'll just give myself 56 to see. Okay. And you see you have the same thing almost twice, you know, the first bar and the third bar, they're the same. And it's piano, so I try to change the color. I don't change the dynamic, I keep it piano, but the first one I'll try to do it more transparent and the second one more dark. Yeah, so in the beginning I try to imagine that there is, you know, it's the morning and there's fog on the prairies, you know, that type of, I'll try to do that. So that's the first phrase. You have to be careful with your E's. Between B and E, it's a little bit difficult to not make any hole. So you really have to support this one. Yeah, and I try to breathe a lot during the rest in the second bar because I try not to breathe in the fourth bar in between the E and the F at the end of the bar because da 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 da. Da, na, 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 na. It kind of cuts that note going, continuing, and yeah. So that's it for that. I'll play it again. I think I'll try to do the crescendo a little bit more. Yeah, and then I'll continue with the pianissimo. Da, 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 da. And you see, that's the tempo vif. Tempo vif is the fast tempo. You have the lent, which is slow, and you have vif. So at vif, I will play it around 100. So, you know, it's a bit as if you were watching a movie where the character has premonitoire. How do you say that? Like when you have a dream that you see the future. You know.
You predict the future,
like you have a vision of the future. You know, it's a bit, that's how I see that composition, because you're at one tempo and then just for one bar you see the future, dum ba dum ba da 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 dum, but then you go back in present time, you know. That's how I see it. So it's important at tempo vif to do it fast because it's not the same tempo as the beginning. So I'm gonna do that and then I'm gonna continue. I think I'm not even gonna tongue that first note, just to give it a, like it's coming from nowhere, like it was always there and then it's just coming to our attention. Okay, So I'm not super happy with my tempo vif there. I think I did the G a little bit too short because it's a portamento, it's a staccato with a legato, so it has to be a bit heavier. And I'll try to vibrate a little bit the last C there. So I'll redo just from tempo vif and then I'll continue. And at lento there, I wrote elastic. You know, like you have that type of cheese that you can go, you know, it's, I try to play it like that there. No. 100, just to make sure. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I'm a bit slow. Yeah, if you see you don't have time to go back to C sharp, F, and then go back again, first you can do this or behind your ear, so it slides a bit better. But if you don't have time for that, you can go, you know, you can leave your finger there when you do the F, and then you just, it's less movement. All depends, maybe you don't need to do that. Just one more time. Okay, that's good. And I'll do from one bar before that, just so I can do my transition. Maybe I could have done the ending a little bit more forte and maybe a little bit more accelerando. I'll go from la again, the second la. I'll do it again. Yeah, and as you see, what did I want to say? Oh yeah, I breathe after. If you go from la, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth of la, I cut a little bit that B flat and I breathe there. Should I do that short or not that short? Because I did boom, but maybe. Yeah, I think I'll let it resonate a little bit. I'll even. Do I have a pencil? Yeah. I'm going to write it down. I'll put a little mark just to show that I'll let it resonate a little bit. I think it gives it a bit more character. So, and I vibrate the first, that high B flat, you know. So. Did I let it enough? Yeah, I think that's good. You know, I might change my mind, and it's the same for you. And you can record yourself, and you'll hear what you prefer, and you can listen to different versions. It's not set in stone. You know, it's your interpretation. You can move it around. And if you have questions about that piece during the live stream, you can ask them. I'll answer them right away. But if it's questions that are not related to that piece, I'll answer them at the end of the live stream.
Rachel bought a shirt. One of the people.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. It's so cool. I hope. So now I'm at Danse Vif. So it's a dance. It's a bit cartoonish. You know, it's a bit... Maybe it's the same story as the Chevre de Monsieur Séguin. You know that story? The goat of... no? It's a very known story in French literature. It's the goat escapes because she sees the forest and the valley, and she's like, I want to go and see that, and she escapes. Like the owner, the farmer, he's like, no, there's danger, and she escapes anyways. And I see it a bit like that, you know. She's looking at the valley, and she's like, what could I do? And then at Tempo Vif, she's like, I could go and play there. So she's but then she's still there, and she knows there's danger there. And then at one point, she jumps the fence and she goes and sees, and now she's super happy. I did it. I'm enjoying my life. Life is good. So now we're there, where she's so happy. So I played at about 100. I won't play it with the metronome now, but maybe when I practice it, sometimes I will use a metronome just to keep my tempo, but not for now. The difference between the piano and the mezzo forte, so I'm going to do it again. And I think you should be very careful too. You have notes that have a line over it. Those are tenutos. It means you have to hold it for the whole length of the note. And you have notes with a dot, which are staccato, so you have to make them short. So they're not always the same. Sometimes you have ta 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 ta, and sometimes you have ta 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 ta. So just be careful with that. And also, what did I want to say? Oh yeah. Personally, on that, I do ta, kata, ta. Ta, ka, ta. For me, it's easier than ta, 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 ta. But it's all, like, try both and see what's more clear for you. So I'll try to be a bit more piano. Same thing, and I'm kind of boring here. Okay, I'll try to do a little bit louder the second time and go back down. Yeah, I try to visualize it as she's having a little, like she's sitting down or something. Yeah, so I was happier with that. I'll go from the mezzo forte and continue. And you see, just before the breathe mark at the mezzo forte, just before that bar, I breathe there, but I do a little bit of a ritardando there. And then I go back to a tempo. It's not written like that, but I play it like that. I'll do it from one bar before the mezzo forte, just to... You see here, I wasn't sure, so I played it like a mirror, you know, back and forth. Okay. so. I'll do it from that chromatic scale going up. Yeah, it's all chromatic, so I'll go from there. Yeah, I tried to start it a bit slow, and I accelerated. So, oh yeah, and a little trick for when you trill a B, if you think of bending your thumb a little bit, it helps going faster than if it's too much like this. You know, if you just bend it a little bit, it goes faster. Works for me. No. I'm not sure. Okay. Something?
Yeah, somebody just wants to know, how would you practice that part, that whole line you just did, like in sections? Because some people, they can't play that through. Obviously, when they say read, they can. They just
Yeah. The whole VIF section?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, first I would, if I was learning it, because I played it before in my life, so I'm not learning it. I would go by little sections. So I would do one line at a time, and I would go slower. And also, let's say I say, okay, I'm gonna play it at 100. So put my metronome at 100. Then I start. And then let's say I made a mistake, I'll go slower, you know, and then I'll go back up. But usually usually when I learn, I really start slow. So I would start slowly, and then I would also analyze things, because you see, I would check, is it really chromatic? If it's chromatic, I know my chromatic scale, so I don't, you know, it's quite easy there. There's a lot of chromaticism there in that piece, so, but sometimes it's not, you know. Sometimes you have semitone and then you have two tones, so you have to be careful about that. Really go by section. Go one line. Once you master it, you go to the second line. When you feel you're tired and you're not learning as well, it's a good idea to just stop. Go take a glass of water, do something else, come back with a fresh mind, because you don't want to learn mistakes that you will have to unlearn. That's a lot of time. So yes. And also, sometimes I will do the whole thing slurred, and then the whole thing tongued, and I will do the parts that are supposed to be slurred tongued and the parts that are supposed to be tongued slurred, just to practice, you know. Let's say for sound purpose, I could practice it like this. And then because practicing it slurred will mean that I have more support, because sometimes when it's staccato we forget to support, so I'll practice it slurred, and then when I'll play it with the staccato, with tonguing, but I'll keep the same support that I had when I was practicing slurred. So that's the reason why I do that. That's yeah. And sometimes slurred parts, I'll tongue them just so I make sure I hear every note and it's precise, and then I'll do it again. Let's say here. And then you see, and there I give little I kind of sit on on some notes, you know, the first note of the beat. I give it some importance because you don't want to get lost in there and blah, 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 and it sounds like it's not clear, you know. Is that helpful? How to practice it? Yeah. Okay. So I'll go from that forte. Yeah, and then there's plus lent. At plus lent, it's a bit. It means slower, but it's not as slow as the beginning. You know, it's slower. So it's not the first tempo. I put it as 72. That's my idea of it. You can have another one. Personally, that part I see it as there was some danger at the end of the part before. You know, it starts but then and then she's like, oh my god, and then she has a little bit of melancholy. You know, she's remembering that, oh, I was not that bad in that, you know, protected in my little space. Why did I want, you know, she thinks of the farmer and her fence and she's like, oh my god, that was not that bad. So yeah, I'll go from the forte just after the chromatic scale, that, and then ta 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 ta. I'll go from there. I think I have a tendency to slow down, so I would have to practice it with a metronome just to make sure I don't slow down too much. I think it's the ta 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 at the end of each bar that slow me down. No. When I'm not happy with my sound, sometimes I sing in my flute and it helps a little bit. There was a little note that I heard. Oh, and here it's a tenuto and I did a staccato, so I'm gonna redo that. And yeah, I start ta 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 ta. So I slow down a little bit in the beginning of that ta 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 ta, and then I go faster just to get into the 100, the vif, you know, the fast part. And you have twice the same thing, so I tried to do the second one a little bit darker than the first one, but I'll write it down that the first one I'll do like transparent, and the second one I'll do a little bit more dark. I'll go from plus lent. That's something to learn. Be careful with all the accidentals there, and learn it slowly. You know, you can go one beat at a time and slur it like this when you learn it, or just tongue everything. And take your time, you know. And you'll make it go faster after, you know. like just there, the ta 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 ta. You might want to play it back and forth. So you know, and start slow, get faster.
Do you use the metronome a lot? And what type of metronome pacing do you use?
Yeah, I use the metronome a lot when I learn stuff.
Oh, but for that one,
For that part, a 100.
100?
Yeah, all the vif, it's fast. I'll play them at 100.
You would turn the metronome on to 100.
Yeah, like I could practice it like that. Whoops. You know, there I would have to check. Très brillant means very shiny, you know. Yeah, but I would, that's my goal, 100, but maybe I would practice it slower at some points, you know, like I could practice at 72. Here I have to remove my thumb. You see here, I don't remember that well, so I'll practice it. And be careful with the accidentals that stay for the whole bar, like that A flat in that bar, just before tempo, you know. You have A flat on the first beat, but on the second beat you still have an A. Don't forget to do it flat. And then once you have it, it's not enough to have that bar. You have to be able to play it following the other thing, because sometimes we do, oh, I'm good, I can play that bar now, but can you play it with what's coming before? So always put it back in context and go a couple of bars before that when you practice. So I'll go from ta 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 da 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 ta 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 ti da 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 da. Yeah, and here I put my thumb for the B flat because all the B's are flat in the bar. And then I remove my thumb because I'll have a C flat, which is a B. So I remove my thumb from there. I think that was okay. I'll do it once with no metronome because there's a poco ritardando, so a little bit slower at the very end. So. I was not happy with the sound there. I'll go even a bit before that. Yeah. So you go back at tempo. So I'll go from the ritardando and I'll go back at tempo because I thought I didn't start fast enough. You know, I was a bit surprised. Oh yeah, and en ralentissant means ritardando again. So I didn't do it very well. I'll do it from a tempo again. type of thing that we had before when it's written plus lent, and here it's un peu plus lent, so it means a little bit slower. But I played at 72 because I feel it's the same type of thing, so I bring it at the same tempo. So 72. Yeah, I think I was okay. I'll do it from en ralentissant, and I'll go in the un peu plus lent. I think I'm gonna give a little bit more nervousness on that trill there. And you see here where there's a breath, I wrote pause there. I took a little pause, like da da da, like something's just floating in the air, and then da 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 da. Just time stops for a fraction of a second, you know. And you play music, you play with time, and it's fun sometimes to be a bit like a time master and be able to just stop the time. You don't do it all the time, or it won't have the same effect. But if you do it once in a piece, it's, you know. So I'll go from un peu plus lent. So here, that's so nice. Yeah, after the pause, and then there's another ritardando where you go. You see the breath there? You can do the same, you know, just little pause there. Then pianissimo. And then you have the same thing, so I try to change the color a little bit. I wrote silky there, so I try to do it silky. And then tam pa pam pam. That's a reminiscence of that ta 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 ta. So it's pianissimo, but you have to feel that, you know, it's still not as fast, but just give it a little bit of energy, a little bit, a tiny bit faster than what's before. And also maybe there's some mixed up emotions in there, because there's a little bit of regret, but there's a little bit of, but it was fun, you know. Oh, I'm in trouble now, but do I regret? I regret, but not 100%, you know. And then you have the whole bar of rest, and don't move there, just keep things floating, and then it's the exact same thing from the beginning. So I'll go from dee da 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 dee, the first one. My piano was two piano, then I didn't have space for pianissimo. When you play it, don't just go and take off your flute, because you need to have that floating, and the audience needs to have a time to, for it to sink in. Don't move, the last note, it's a harmonic, so you play the low C, but you have to make it sound like the C over it, You play this note, but you make it sound like the C above. That's why there's two notes, and that's why there's a little circle. That's a sign for harmonics. Did I explain it well enough? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, and at the end, I really try to slow down. I put little arrows that go to the left, so I remember in my part that, oh yeah, like keep it very stretchy, like stretch the time as much as you can. So yeah, for me it's a piece with a nice story, and like when you have those loud moments, I think there's some danger, the wolf is gonna kill the goat, and yeah, you can go with that and go back to one part to the other. And time is important, because you have, oh, I'm gonna do that, and then you have, oh yeah, I did that, and all those things. I think it's very interesting. So
I only have one question. Well, two questions. One's a funny one. Have you mastered the Chaminade concertino?
Oh, I don't know if I have ever mastered anything in my life. Why? Because I did a practice with. Yeah, I'm gonna play it in concert actually soon with.
We're gonna record it soon too.
Yeah, with a very. Oh, maybe we should record it with her.
Yeah, maybe.
With a very, very nice person that I love very much. She was my piano teacher for 5 years, and she was also my accompanist on the flute. So she's doing a concert, and she invited me, and it's very cool. I'm gonna play Chaminade very soon, so I'll have to master it. But I try not to see things as mastering, and I play it as best as I can at the moment there. So I'll practice it and make it as solid as I can, and then I'll just go out in the world and give what I have,
And then our last question is Joseph Ho. He's having trouble tuning with his ears. Any tips on tuning?
Yeah. Do you have a tuner? I think there are even apps,
Yeah, there are so many apps now.
You can even buy an app
that has drones on them, like you play drones.
Yeah.
And also, not airplane drones, but sound drones.
Yeah. So first thing, I would use the tuner, trying to keep the little arrow as much as possible in the middle. This way you'll hear, oh, my note is a bit high, is a bit flat, and you'll start hearing the difference. Some people are more visual, and it helps them to do it like that. Then you can also do little exercises like this. You play a note, and you sharpen it, and then you lower it. And then you bring it back in the middle. That will first give you the possibility to move because if you hear and you still can't do it, at least you can bend your notes. And then you can use a drone, not a drone to take pictures. Yeah, here. How does it work again? Okay, so I have a C here. And then you see, I bend it, and then I try to find the middle of that note, and then you can play a scale on it or an arpeggio. Improvise a little bit in C major and C minor, just change the note. You can also sometimes be like, okay, let's say in this piece I could put a drone on an F, No, sorry. Okay, how do I change the notes? Note. Okay, I have an F. You know, you can do stuff like that. And on a drone, it's a bit more difficult to hear the little rah, 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 but if you have two flutes, or maybe with a piano, it would be easier. But if you have a teacher or another flutist you can play with, and you try to play notes, and we should make a video about that. Then when you hear a when you play the same note, it means it's not together, you know. And when that goes away, it's like, ah, it's together. And also some intervals, you can, especially in the high register, if it's in tune, you'll hear resultant, which is a note that you'll hear way below if it's really in tune. So you can play in the high register with another flutist, let's say a D and an F, and you'll hear, if it's in tune, you'll hear a note under. So that those little tricks can be helpful.
Does it matter if you buy a metronome, a physical one, or an online phone app?
For the tuner?
Metronome, you said.
Metronome? I don't know.
I think it doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters that much, but I have students that said they preferred that because it plays a little bit louder than their metronome on their tablet. Or but if you have like my son has a little USB speaker, so I guess for him it wouldn't be a problem.
Because it would play a clearer sound.
Yeah. So if you have a little speaker, I don't think little Bluetooth speaker with your phone, and then put it there, and
even for drones too, it sound amazing.
Yeah. Probably would sound better than that.
Yeah.
You know.
We should make a metronome app.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, any other questions? No. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful. If you have questions, comments, just leave them in the box below. Please like this video and please subscribe if you haven't yet, and see you next time.